back to my kitchen and welcome to the Recipe Therapist. On today's episode, I'm going to be making for you a delicious eggplant parmigiana. We're going to roast this eggplant in the oven without breadcrumbs, so it's going to be lighter and healthier. We're going to layer some ricotta cheese in between with some fresh spinach, some fresh onion. It's going to be so delicious, healthy, and I can't wait to show you how we put it together. So let's get started. So I want to show you what we're going to be putting into this eggplant ricotta bake. We're going to start out with some fresh mozzarella that I chopped into little cubes like this. We're also going to be using 2 fresh eggplants today. I picked these eggplants up at a farm called Barb's Family Farm in Pennsylvania. I picked them myself. But before we get going with the rest of the ingredients, I want to give you a little tip on when an eggplant is ready for you to use it for a recipe. It has to be shiny and smooth on the skin. It also should be heavy when you pick it up. Now, the greatest tip is you press your thumb into the skin, and if it makes a mark like that, that's when you know it's ready. So these are so ready to go. We're also going to be using some fresh spinach, which I'm going to be chopping up in a little bit. I'm also going to be using a fresh meat tomato sauce that I had made. You can also use a fresh tomato marinara sauce if you'd like. We're going to be using some salt and pepper, 2 eggs, and some extra virgin olive oil. We have some chopped onion, garlic powder, some fresh oregano from my garden, and some Parmigiana cheese. We're also going to be using some fresh basil that I picked from my garden as well. Now, of course, we're going to be using some ricotta cheese. And I just want to tell you that my favorite ricotta, if you can find it, is the Galbani ricotta. I usually use the full fat. Today I'm going to be using part skim, but the recipe works well either way. But this is my favorite and it's so delicious. We're going to start out with our eggplant because we have to roast it in the oven. So I want to start to cut it, but before I cut it, I want to tell you that for this recipe, you can leave the skin on when we slice our eggplant, but I prefer the skin off. So I'm going to be peeling this today. So I'm going to place my eggplant down on my cutting board, and I have a nice serrated knife. I'm going to cut the edge stem off, okay? And then I'm going to take my peeler, and I'm just going to go down this eggplant like this. And when we come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to slice it for roasting. I finished peeling my eggplant, and now I'm ready to slice it into 1/2-inch slices like this. I've done some already, but I just want to demonstrate how I did that. So I take a nice serrated knife, and I just go lengthwise down my eggplant, just like this. See that? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some on my plate, which I've done already. And what we have to do is brush each piece of eggplant front and back with the olive oil, okay? And then we have to put some salt and pepper on each side. All right, so I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt. I mean, it's just a pinch, and some black pepper. So I'm gonna finish these, and then we're gonna come back, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put it in the oven. I finished coating my eggplant on each side with the olive oil and the salt and pepper. You can see here both sides are done and complete. And now I have my oven preheated to 450 degrees because these have to roast for about 25 to 30 minutes. If your oven does run hot, you can lower it to 400 degrees. And we're going to roast these, and in between the cooking time, we're going to turn them over so the other side roasts. And then we're going to come back and we're going to prepare our spinach on the stovetop and get our ricotta mixture ready. Now we're ready to saute up our spinach. So I have my nice saute pan here, put a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and I've chopped my spinach right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with my onions. I just want to saute them up for a little less than a minute. Not to brown them, just to get the onions to be translucent and to kind of, flavor that oil. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna add our spinach. Our onions are nice and translucent, so now we're ready to add all of this spinach here that I chopped. I have my flame on in between medium-high and medium, which is fine for this sauteed spinach. I'm going to add a pinch of salt and some of this garlic powder. I like garlic powder on my spinach. You could use fresh garlic if you'd like. And a pinch of pepper. And I'm just going to saute this up until the spinach is nice and wilted and all those flavors come together, and then we're going to check on our eggplant. It's been about 15 minutes that my eggplants have been cooking, and now I'm ready to flip them over. So I'm going to pull this out and show you what it looks like. You see how nice and roasted that's looking? This is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna finish turning these, and then we're gonna cook them the rest on the other side. I wanna show you how we're going to put our ricotta mixture together. Now that our spinach is done, I have my spinach here in my bowl. It's nice and ready to go. So I'm going to take my ricotta and I'm gonna put it right into this bowl. And I'm going to add my spinach, which smells really, really good. Our grated Parmesan cheese. And I did take the egg and I beat them up, so I'm going to add those as well. And I'm going to add my oregano. If you don't have oregano, you can use fresh basil in this as well, which would work really good too. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to mix this together, and it's gonna come together really nice, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna check on our eggplant to flip it in the oven. I took my eggplants out of the oven, and look how nice and roasty they look. That's exactly what we want. So now I'm going to take these eggplants and I'm gonna put them on this dish lined with a paper towel, just to absorb some of that oil residue, and then we're gonna come back and assemble our ricotta eggplant bake. Okay friends, so now we're ready to put everything together. So I have my 7 by 11 glass baking dish. I have my meat sauce that's nice and heated up. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take a nice chunky ladle of sauce, maybe a ladle and a half, and line the bottom of the dish, just like that. And then I have my eggplant here. I'm gonna do 2 layers total of this eggplant bake. So I'm gonna line the bottom with my nice roasted eggplant. It looks so good. And I have my ricotta spinach mixture here. So I'm just going to use 1/3 of it. Okay, and I'm gonna spread it all around this eggplant layer. And it's so colorful, and this is gonna be so delicious. I really like the spinach addition and the onion to this recipe. I mean, you can make it without it and just do it as a plain ricotta bake, but this is really, really gonna be good. So I'm going to add just a little Parmesan cheese on top and some mozzarella, just like this. I'm gonna add a little bit more sauce, okay? And then I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna do the next layer, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna get ready to do the top and to go bake off in that oven. So I've completed my second layer, and now I just want to show you that I'm gonna take the last 1/3 of the ricotta mixture, and I'm just gonna do a few dollops on top. I do this more or less for the look of the bake. I really like the way it looks. All right, so I'm going to just finish this up, and then I'm going to take the rest of my mozzarella and put that on top of the dolloped, and then maybe a few just spread around. And then I'm going to take a little bit of sauce and just put the sauce on top, like almost like dolloped as well. I have my oven at 400 degrees preheated. I'm gonna sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese, and look at this. Is this beautiful? So this is gonna bake, like I said, in my oven at 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then we're gonna take it out and we're gonna take a taste. So my eggplant ricotta bake is just about done, and look at it. It looks so bubbly and perfect. So I'm gonna take it out and then I'm gonna let it cool off, and then we're going to take a taste. Here it is, the eggplant ricotta bake with the spinach inside. I took it out, I let it cool. I took some fresh basil that I have here from my garden, and I just kind of broke it up like this. I like to break it up with my hands for a recipe like this. So now I'm ready to take my knife and cut into it and show you what this looks like. Okay, it looks really good. So I'm gonna take my spatula and we're gonna take out a nice chunk of this. I just wanna cut it up real good. Okay, just like that. And look at that spinach and the cheese. This looks so good. I like it like this with not too much sauce. So I'm gonna taste it like this. But I just want you to see that spinach in there and the eggplant is layered. I've got enough meat sauce on top and in between, which is fine for me, but feel free to put some more sauce on it if you'd like. So I'm just gonna take a quick taste for you guys. This is so light and refreshing. I am so happy about how this recipe turned out. I think you guys are really gonna like it. And I just wanna mention again, it is very low carb with a sugar-free sauce. It could be keto friendly, gluten-free. So for those of you out there that have those dietary restrictions, feel free to try this recipe. For the full recipe, I am gonna leave it in the description box below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell, and YouTube will inform you of my next video that I release. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you to Barb's Family Farm for this eggplant, and we'll see you next time. Serve up some more love. Take care.